Hey, this is George with Nationwide Freight. Today I'm actually here at Green APU in Lemont. We're installing APUs on several of our trucks. So I actually came to the location where they're installing them to get a little bit more insights on the importance on APUs and why we're installing them on our trucks. Now, I'm not an expert when it comes to APUs, so I will try to find somebody and talk to them inside the company here so they can explain us a little bit more on the importance and the advantages of installing an APU unit on your vehicle. So let's go inside. They should be expecting me because they called me. Hey, how are you? I was supposed to check in with the lady that sits here in the front. I'm with Nationwide Freight. One of the trucks is getting an APU unit installed now, and I wanted to film a little bit of that. Okay, so this is an interesting infographic here. It shows you if you idle, how many hours per day you idle, how many tires, so what your savings can buy basically. Do this either annually, 5 years, if you have 25 trucks. Diesel now being about $6, let's say, with an average of, we'll take the lowest, 260 days per day, with 8 hours idling per day. This is the savings range. Interesting. 5 years. It adds up. I don't know much about APUs, so if you could help me out with share some of your knowledge of why they're good to have basically on the truck.
APUs here, so you don't have to run the main engine. You can run this engine instead, and it'll keep all the climate inside the truck. It burns a lot more less fuel. You use the truck engine, it burns twice, maybe 3 times the fuel. This is our APU. We mount it to the frame. We have our own blocks that sit on the back of the frame. It's kind of covered by the catwalk, but this is mainly right where we install the APU. Our fuel pickup line comes from the top of the tank. It's a long tube that goes to the bottom of the tank, taking all the fuel up. You just got to make sure the tank is filled.
Right.
At least over a quarter of a tank. Because if it's below a quarter of a tank, you got a chance of it running out of fuel. And then we run the coolant hoses. We have a shutoff valve here and down here, and we run it straight to the APU. So when the APU is running, it keeps the coolant warm in the engine. You could order these units with a bigger amp alternator, which will charge the batteries. You have a bigger size inverter, you could get the bigger alternator, and it will power everything inside the truck, from your microwave to your refrigerator to your TV, PlayStation, Xbox, etc.
Okay, the necessary stuff, right?
Yes. There's no door on this side, but the blower usually sits in the middle. This is our blower. This is how we get it before we install inside the truck. You put your AC lines here, and then you got your coolant hoses that go here. So you don't have no heater element that sits inside the truck to produce the heat. You got the actual coolant producing the heat. You got the drains here for your AC. And the oil change, on the other hand, you got your easy access right here. You open this up, you got your air filter right there. Put it back on there. Just push these 2 clips back in. There's one in the back. Interesting. You got your oil drain plug right here. Mm-hmm. And then you got your fuel filter here, and then you got your oil filter in the back. Maintenance is pretty easy on it. I changed the belt. It looks very complicated, but I assure you it's very easy. Okay. You just take off this panel, these 3 bolts here. You wedge something right between the panel, and then they're able to work with the belt, take it off. You can use tools to push down the tensioner, but you necessarily don't need it. You could just push, if you got strength, you can push down the compressor and just take it off the pulleys and then replace the belt from there.
Say a driver parked, right? He just came back from the road. He parked, turns off the truck. Does he need to worry about turning the APU on, or it automatically senses?
The climate control will keep if you set it at 60, you set it at 70, 80 degrees inside the truck, this blower will keep it at that temperature. Okay. If you set it on battery charger, the battery charger will run for about an hour or two, charge up the batteries, and it'll keep them from dying. Okay. APU will turn on and shut off at that point. Gotcha. If you want to come inside the truck before I got everything all hooked up in there. So this is my light. There's many like them, but this one is mine. So basically, our blower will sit right here. One of the blower ducts go right into the factory ventilation system. And then one of the ducts sit right here. That way it'll blow out air through here. Fan pressure is pretty strong. This is a Kenworth, so usually we put the controller right here. Very simple to use. Peterbilt, Kenworth, yeah, they're all the same. I believe the Kenworths, they're just a little different. They got a different type of wall here. So if you wanted to put some bars in the back or whatnot, long poles, you stick them right behind there. The blower comes about this far, and then the hole gets drilled right there, right where all the hoses, coolant lines, AC lines, all the wiring just go right inside there. When you get it installed here, you get a free thing of filters with you. Okay. So, and then for the batteries, when we run the cables, we charge all 4 of the batteries. In this case, this might have a 3 battery system on here.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Yep, this one's got 3 batteries on it. So when we hook up the batteries, we go across all 3 batteries instead of just going across 1 battery. So let's say your negative will sit here, positive will sit there, or your negative will sit here and your positive will sit here. And the system that's in the truck right now, or in the APU right now, you're good with like a 2,000 to 2,500 watt inverter. If you go with like a 3,000 watt or higher, you might need the update for the bigger alternator setup.
What's the usual install time for inverter of this size?
Inverter or the APU?
The inverter, the APU, sorry, yes.
Roughly about 6 to 8 hours.
6 to 8 hours?
Yes. If it's your first time doing an install on these trucks, I would say it'd take a whole day just to do the outside. It'd take a whole day to do the inside. That way you could go through every little thing on it, make sure you don't forget anything. Because if you go rush, and it's your first time and you try to get it done in 6 hours, you're gonna miss stuff. You're gonna run the hoses wrong way, or you wanna prevent that. So I would advise for your first or second time, just take your time at it. So this right here is your pre-cooler. This unit sits inside the middle of the frame. So this, if the unit runs hot, this will turn on, but this is a nice key factor of having this on the unit. It's like a little small radiator, so it doesn't rely on the anything on the main motor that's on the truck. So you got the APU, the pre-cooler that sits in the middle of the frame, your fuel pickup tube, the access for your coolant lines and your battery cables, and then everything else is just on the inside.
Again, thank you, Matt. Appreciate your insights, man. All right, so that was Matt with Green APU. Matt did an awesome job of explaining how these APUs are, basically how they work and what they do here to install them and what you need to know. If you learned something, make sure that you subscribe, follow us on our social media, and I will make sure to bring you more trucking related posts and content for you to learn something and yeah, have a wonderful day.